Hi everyone, I'm Naomi Watts and I'm doing Ask a Grown Woman for Rookie. Okay, the first question. Hi Rookie, my name is Morgan. Hi everyone, I'm Naomi Watts and I'm doing Ask a Grown Woman for Rookie. Okay, the first question. Hi Rookie, my name is Morgan. I'm 24 and I live in the UK. I've been moving quite a bit in the past 3 years and I think I found a place to settle. But my only problem is that even though I have a few friends, I'm always alone. I'm starting to suffer a lot from loneliness. I'm really trying to distract myself, but at least once a day, I'm getting really stressed that I'm on my own. I'm always happy when I have people around me, though. It is so hard making new friends and finding new people that I can spend time with. I'm not even mentioning finding a boyfriend because I can't make friends. If I can't make friends, how can I find a boyfriend, right? I just wanted to know if you had advice on how I could deal with myself and how to meet new people. Thanks a lot. Lots of love, Morgan. Yeah, you have to get out there, even with the fear. Go and mix with new people. I would say once a week, try and put yourself in a situation where you know you're going to meet someone new, and even if that's a little bit scary. And if you really do that, I think you'll find that it's not as scary as you thought it was. It's often the anticipation and the things, the imposter that lives in your head that tricks us into believing that it's scary. And I think if you do that once a week, you might find that you can broaden your circles. I get it though. It's I remember coming to Los Angeles and I really didn't know anyone, and I was forced into a situation where I literally had to call those people that say, "Hey, give me a ring," and I'm not normally that. I'm not outgoing, so I was quite shy. So you do just have to break through, and I think bit by bit you'll meet more and more people. This is another question. Dear Rookie, as I have grown older, I have naturally been going to bed later. This has unexpectedly had some unfortunate consequences. My parents sleep directly above in our converted loft. There's no way, there's no easy way of putting this. I can hear them having sex. I don't know if I should mention this to them or how, but it really disturbs me and makes me feel quite uncomfortable. How do you advise I go about trying to sort this out? From an extremely disturbed teen. Gosh, this is a tricky one. I would say, um, I think you should probably just call it like it is and say that it's uncomfortable, and say to your mom and dad, guys, I love that you guys are into each other, and that makes me feel really good. And I'm glad that it makes you feel good because actually I hear it every night or whenever it is. So I'm going to ask you to tone it down. Try to get a hotel every once in a while, or no, maybe that's impossible. I don't know. Or ask them to help you build a door or supply earmuffs. I'm not quite sure. I think this would be uncomfortable, and I do remember walking in on my mother once, and it was quite disturbing. The good news is that this is your mom and dad, and you can feel comforted by the fact that they really still like each other and love each other, and that means a lot. Okay, that's all I got. Bye, guys.
Hi! Just kidding. I just did that because I'm a little socially uncomfortable sometimes, like many of you. Okay. My name is Paula Pell, and I am a grown woman, and I got your questions. They're really good ones. and I'd like to answer some of them. My first question I had sent to me was, do I count as queer if I've never smooched a lady? I believe that it's not about what you do to define yourself as queer or, anything straight, gay, whatever it is. It's not about what you do. It's all about what you feel. It's about what you feel in your heart. It's about what you think about when you walk around and see people and meet people. It's what makes your heart go fast. It's what interests your brain about a person. And so it really isn't about keeping score of, what's your resume of whether you've smooched a lady or not. It's just not a definition of what or who you are in life. Um, I think you should not keep track of that if you can, and try to keep track of just how your gut feels, your heart and your gut, all the things that are inside your body, just like what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel excited when you meet somebody and you go, oh, they're such a neat person. I love this person. And if you keep feeling that about a person that is of your same sex, then you probably are a gay person. And it's just sort of a natural thing that you're going to have to find out. Now, the person that I've been with for the last 14 years, her name is Deanna. She's a wonderful person. And I've been with her for 14 years. And she had never kissed a girl before she was with me, which, didn't matter to me, and it didn't matter to her because she knew who she was and what she wanted to, how she wanted to live her life. And, I didn't mind it because I am a terrible kisser. I'm probably the worst kisser on the East Coast, and um, I've taken so many classes in it, and I'm just terrible at it. This is how I kiss. It's really disgusting. Oh God, I just saw myself and I looked like a largemouth bass. Anyway, so that's question one. I hope I answered that well. Stay with your heart, to recap. And that was from S. That question was from S. Just S. Superwoman, probably. The second question is, everyone has always just assumed that I'm straight, but I'm not. I'm hoping to meet a love interest type person, but I'm not ready to come out to the whole world. Impossible? This is Marge from Chicago. Well, let's take the first part of that first. Everyone's just assumed that I'm straight, but I'm not. My advice would be to not worry at all about what people are thinking you are. I think you're living in a generation that's a lot different about it. People don't care as much about it. I'm not saying there still isn't difficulty in school and people wondering and people gossiping, because there always will be, I'm sure, about everything in life, because that's human beings. But when I was growing up, there was a lot more secret hush hush talk about it, and a lot of people that decided if you were that they weren't going to pay attention to you and they weren't going to talk to you, and it was a lot more scary because nobody ever talked about it and nothing was ever on TV about it or the movies. So it was really a scary time for that. But I spent so much time worrying about that, and I would just say that I regret that. I would definitely spend less time worrying about what people are thinking about whether you're a straight person or a gay person. I'm hoping to meet a love interest. Okay, I'm not ready to come out to the whole world. Well, it's not impossible at all. My best friend when I was growing up in high school eventually ended up being the person that I was with for quite a few years through college. And she became my girlfriend, and we had a great relationship. And for a long time, people didn't know because we were friends, and people knew that we were always together. But we didn't feel at that time in our life comfortable with everyone knowing it. And we were young and we were still kind of figuring ourselves out. So make sure that you give yourself enough time to figure yourself out before you feel any urgency to explain yourself to others. That goes for anything in life. Anything you want to do, anything you want to be, who you want to be with. Just spend time with yourself first. And have a lot of time to investigate and experience before you ever feel like you have to tell everybody, what your life is going to be, because you won't know yet. You just won't know. And it's best to be sure of what you feel so you don't keep going back and telling people different things. But most importantly, so you don't pull yourself around so much and feel anxious about what people are thinking. Just try to get quiet in your head about it and say, it doesn't really matter as long as I'm, a good person, I'm a good friend, I'm a good student, I do good things. Just do all those things. Spend your time being who you are, 100%. And then if people ask you, you can be honest with them if they approach you about it, but you don't have to. People don't care as much as you think about anything in your life. And when you're gay or straight, I think that they're curious just because it's a kind of interesting, curious thing. But I don't think it's going to make or break their day. So just put it out of your head. Number 3, how do you go about asking a stranger for their phone number? Is there some sort of trick so that you don't completely embarrass yourself? Well, I've never been good at that. When I was dating people or I didn't really date that much, but when I was going out with people or would meet people I liked, it was always really hard for me to cross that because it is vulnerable. It's scary. It's super scary when you like somebody to go to that next step and say, well, do you bowl? Do you bowl often? Maybe we could bowl together. I don't know. Do you guys bowl anymore? Oh, brother. I am old. I have a couple tricks that I just made up that might help you. One of them is you could trick them by saying, my phone number has so many sevens in it. It's like 677772777, even if it's the wrong amount of numbers. It doesn't matter because it's a trick. And then you could just be like, it drives me nutballs. And then you just kind of like wait like this for them to say theirs or whether they have any sevens. And if they don't, you do this. All right. You have a good day. And then you just, go eat a cookie or something. I'm just, giving you terrible advice. The second trick I thought could be good is if you go, I've had this trick ever since I was little that I can say my phone number really fast, 555-7272. And you say your number really fast and they might go, oh, mine's terrible to say fast because it's got a lot of hard numbers in it. And you go, really? And then you tape record. You just put your phone right in near their mouth, like behind the salad you're eating, and just go. And hopefully you can record it. And then you can, cut and paste and all that stuff that you do on fancy phones. A serious answer to that, real quick, is that the best way I've found when you do like somebody like that is just to be direct and say, do you want to go have coffee sometime, or you want to go have a pizza with me, or just take the leap. And if they say no, it's going to bum you out, but it'll bum you out for a little bit and you won't spend like 6 months worrying about should you have said something. So I would say sometimes if you really, and of course, if it's a safe situation, if it's, a stranger that you don't want to get a stranger's phone number or give a stranger's phone number if it's somebody that's not in your world or, someone on the internet, like definitely somebody that's of your world. And so if you meet somebody in school and you want their number and you can say, hey, do you ever want to go see a movie, or make it really casual. And even if inside you're super nervous, just act a little like it doesn't matter. And then it won't matter to them. And maybe they'll just become your friend. You never know. I know that you probably want them to be more than your friend, but you always can use a good friend too, if that is how it turns out. Lastly, the question from, let me see who this is from. Anonymous. That's a beautiful name. Anonymous. I think that's Italian. My best friend and I have a great relationship, but I really like her, and I want her to be my girlfriend. I value our friendship so much and don't want her to think that I'm, that I'm creepy and or ruin what we like. But I like her so much. That's in capitals. What should I do? Anonymous. Anonymous, if I can call you Anana, um, I say you have to, especially if you have a friendship with someone, let things naturally happen. As I mentioned, my first girlfriend was also my best friend. And, it very gradually happened that way, that we both cared for each other in that way. And we both came together really slowly in our relationship until we went, oh, this is what this is. We're going to be girlfriends. It all made sense. But I think if one of us or the other would have jumped into that faster, it makes it harder. You always want to make sure things are pretty even before you confront someone about that, because it does put you in a situation where you could be hurt. You could really have your feelings hurt. But also, it will give your friendship a weird feeling if you're the only one feeling it. So, really pay attention to how they are with you. And if you really feel like that they like you, I mean, even if you had someone that was a confidant that knows both of you, if you could be honest with them, if you could say, what do you think? Do you think that they like me that way? Have you ever heard them say anything that way? I mean, someone you trust. You don't want to be talking about your relationship with that person to everybody, um, but I think if you let it happen naturally, it's also just so much better because it has no, like I said, it's even. Everyone, both of you are meeting together in the same spot. And then it's just really fantastic because then you don't have to worry about the yes or no of it. So sometimes you just have to be patient in life with people. That goes for anybody. If you meet somebody in a class and you really like them, just get to know them. Keep getting to know them. Go hang out with them, joke around with them. I've always used humor when I was getting to know somebody. My wife now, I mean, now and forever. It sounds like it's now and then next year she's out of here. Um, but Deanna is, the first time I met her, when she came to see me, came to visit me, she came to the door. We had met on the internet and talked for a really long time as friends. And then she came to visit me, and I started it off with a laugh because I'm a comedy person, and that's how I feel comfortable. And so I opened the door and held out a beverage for her, and I said, "Hold on, I have to go put in my teeth," like I had false teeth. Oh, she laughed. She was probably faking it, but she was really laughing. And then it made me feel more comfortable because we had laughed together. So whatever your thing is, if you're a person who's, does artwork, like draw them a little drawing and say, oh, I drew this for you, or whatever it is a little gesture. Do it a small amount. Don't overgive or overdo or overtalk what you're feeling. Give them a little teeny bit. And then if they respond, give them a little bit more. And then you go, oh, I can feel safe in this. I can relax and act like I kind of like them, and I can flirt around and have fun with them and laugh and get to know them. And most importantly, it doesn't matter if you're going to be girlfriends with them or not. It's important to get to know them because you have to know who that person is to give them more of yourself emotionally and to let them look in your heart and your head. Um, they have to be worthy of that. They have to deserve it and be a good person. You have to always protect yourself that way. Don't give away your heart to someone you don't know well enough, because then it's harder on the other side when you've been hurt, because then you're hurt, you're mad at them, but you're also mad at yourself because you didn't give it enough time. You didn't give them enough time to get to know you. So I guess that's it. I wish you guys were right here with me talking back to me because I would love to discuss these things with you, but I hope these answers helped. I know they were very long, and so I would say hit the fast forward button anytime I'm a snoozer because I probably got boring a few times. Um, and so anyway, it was really nice to meet all of you, and just keep on listening to your heart, listen to your gut, and thank you for listening to me.
Hey everybody, I'm Psalm 1, and this is Rookie Mag. Steph asks, I'm a queer college freshman and there are basically no lesbians at my school. It's really lonely. How can I find queer friends? A girlfriend. Well, Steph, I'm here to tell you that you never know who's around you until you become active. I remember as a college freshman myself, I didn't have much experience at all hollering at chicks, hollering at dudes either, because I am identified with being bisexual. So for me, it was, I guess, so easy for somebody to try to tell you how to pick up guys, but as someone who's identifying with being queer, they don't really give you the handbook on that, do they? But I would say stay active. As a freshman, everyone is lost, so it's just about finding people who you can click with. As far as college is concerned, you're getting to the age where you don't really want to play games with your friends like that. So I would just suggest, stay active if you're like in a women's studies course or something like that. Or if you even see pamphlets for a queer group, you may think it's corny, but it may provide you with what you need as far as finding people that are just like you. So as far as finding a girlfriend, you don't want to just go out just blindly hunting for someone because it may not be the right person for you. Just have fun, try to meet new people, be yourself, and don't think that people are going to run from you because you're gay. All right? Okay, last question. So I'm going to paraphrase a bit because Anonymous wrote a really long question, but I feel the need to try to um, shed some insight or whatever it is that I have on the subject. Okay, so Anonymous writes, I have always liked girls ever since I was young. During sleepovers, I found myself watching my friends get changed. I love the delicate frames of the girls, the soft lips and silky hair, so much so that I have a hard time being around them. I've only dated guys so far, but I just don't like them. I'm applying to universities right now to study fashion, but the thought of being around so many girls scares me. I haven't even told any of my friends about these feelings, and I wouldn't dare tell my parents. I have a dad and 3 brothers, and it wouldn't go down well. How can I be around so many girls at college without losing my mind? Great involved question, and I guess the answer is not so simple. Coming out is not something that anyone should force you into, but I feel that the fear that you're feeling is just based in you not being out, you know? Fashion school, let me tell you, if there was going to be a gay-friendly place, I would feel that maybe, generally speaking, you might find what you're looking for if, in fact, you go to fashion school to study your dreams, which you should be doing anyway. You have to just be yourself. If you keep secrets, you keep the burden. Now, I'm not saying run home and out yourself to your dad and your 3 brothers, because who knows, you could be right about not going down well, but you also could be wrong. But your friends, you know, if your friends are cool, then they'll stick with you when you come out to them. And if they weren't your friends, I know it sounds corny and cliche, but it's true. If your friends aren't messing with you after you out yourself to them, then they weren't your friends to begin with. You don't need them in your life, because in your life you're going to need your friends, and sometimes your friends become your family. So you have to have people that you can trust in your circle, at least one person, because that would make it easier. Being around girls and never dating girls and knowing that you like girls, it can be torture, because you know girls have that thing about them where they can make you want them even if they don't want you. So you have to just be careful. You have these desires because you haven't acted on them yet. I guarantee you, once you start having these experiences that are more sexual in nature with women, if that should happen, which I'm certain it will, if that's what you're identifying with, you will find that these unbearable feelings, these fearful feelings will subside, even go away in the future. So just trust in yourself. Don't force yourself to do anything, but if you keep having these feelings of fear and things like that, you need to find somebody in your life that you can talk to. So I do appreciate you sending the question. Hopefully, I've I've been able to help you a little bit. So Ask a Grown Woman is signing off. I'm Someone. You can find all my stuff at regularblackgirl.com. Have a nice day, y'all, and Be blessed. Peace.
Hi. Hi, friends at Rookie. I'm Regina Spector. I am answering Ask a Grown today. I will try to do my best. This is hard. First question. Dear Rookie, I've been really stressed and overwhelmed recently, but seeking help from my parents isn't really working. My parents grew up much less privileged than me outside of the US and had to deal with some really, really difficult things as kids. To them, academic pressure, friendship issues, low self-esteem, and whatever else I'm struggling with don't seem like big problems. They typically just tell me to work harder and stop complaining. Am I really just complaining? I really want to be able to talk to my parents. How do I help my parents understand what I'm going through so they can better help me? This is written by Michelle, 16, Chicago. Thanks so much for writing, Michelle. Wow, first of all, I want to say that I remember very well that complicated feeling at that age. And I truly believe that people do forget with time what it feels like to be 16, and that those things that aren't so big or sort of traumatic on paper, like all the issues that you mentioned, they're giant and they feel very big, and feelings are not quantifiable and we shouldn't judge them because they're valid, and everybody is born into their circumstances, and there are good things that come with that and there are bad things that come with that. But the pain that a person feels inside is not quantifiable. So you can feel as much hardship as your parents did over something that's, a bigger issue, just because you have a soul and you feel what you feel. I think that the thing that parents, especially immigrant parents, want for their children is to have a better life than they did. So a lot of the time they kind of get lost in the logistics of things. They want you to, be fed, sleep enough, wear a good coat when it's cold out. They kind of just go for the minutia of day-to-day life, and they don't really talk about the bigger things and what they consider maybe like, oh, this is a passing phase, or this is, she thinks that this is a bigger thing than it is. And at the same time, all the experiences they went through have made them really wise. So I think if you come to them and you say, I love that you are my parents and I will always be your kid, but I also want to be your friend. And I happen to be living in this time in my life. I'm living under the same roof, and we are all here together, and I want to benefit from your wisdom. Can we talk about these kind of higher things, like philosophical things, how I feel? I want to benefit from your wisdom. I think that if you come at it from that angle and just say to them, I want to benefit from your wisdom now, they will be very glad to be useful. Because at that age, I think parents and kids have this giant chasm between them, and they don't really know how to communicate. And parents will feel a great relief to be useful in some way and to be able to help. And if they do say something like, oh, just work harder, you could say, I am, and I want to do all those things, but this is big to me, and I want your support and your advice. I think they will want to help you. Good luck. As I grow older, people are always asking me what I want to be when I grow up, as if I am expected to know. As a teen, I feel like I have to answer that question with confidence and certainty, at the age of 16, how am I meant to answer that question convincingly and without people thinking that I have no direction in life? I have given it lots of thought because I can feel the pressure to have my whole life planned out. Every time someone asks, what do you want to be when you grow up? I become stressed out because I simply don't know what to say. I feel like I'm going to be judged if I haven't figured out what I want to do. Please help me, Molly. Well, Molly, I really remember very vividly my experience with this same question. I actually had a very, very hard time at around your age because I had been playing piano since I was 6, and I had I loved music with my whole heart, and I sort of thought that the only way you can be a musician is to become a classical pianist. That sort of somehow was made clear to me maybe by other people. But by the time I was 15, 16, maybe even 14, I was really in turmoil because I had realized that I wasn't ever going to become a classical pianist. And at the same time, I had never thought of anything other to do with my life. And everybody was constantly asking me, so what are you going to be? What are you going to study? What are you going to do? And I felt such pain and sadness every time someone asked, because I was really lost. So, my parents would joke, and my dad would say, you should become a lawyer. You're really good at arguing, or, people would say, you should become, a psychologist. You really love to listen to my problems and give me advice. And I would try and sort of measure all these different things onto myself and imagine it. And none of it fit. I tried to imagine myself as a teacher. I tried to imagine myself, I don't know, a lot of different things. And then, to my luck, I guess, sort of the idea of writing songs got introduced into my life, and I never thought of anything else again. And I do feel like it's very strange that people want teenagers to know what they're going to do with their life. I mean, life it's such a giant, vast pursuit, and I think that people spend so much time going towards goals that they think they have to set for themselves, oftentimes not setting them too early, setting them based on other people's expectations, not really having discovered who they are or what is really right for them. I think that it's great that you don't know the answer, and I think that all you have to really say is, oh, I can't wait to discover that. I can't wait to discover what I'm going to do. But I am going to be finding something that is right for me, all you have to do is find something that makes you feel excited, that makes you feel useful. I think there are too many people not using their special skills and talents and sort of their unique qualities in their work. And it makes for a lot of very miserable people who hate to work. And you don't want to be a part of that. That's just, I mean, it happens to a lot of people and it's unfortunate, but you are at an age where you can fight against that with everything you have. You just stay your course, and just discover, and there is no way that most people know what they want to do. And there are a lot of things that are a part of my life, that are a part of my work, that I didn't know anything about, making videos, or, making art designs for covers or posters, or all kinds of things that fall under the umbrella of what I ended up doing, that I couldn't say that I would want to, be in a short film or write stories, or all kinds of things that I end up doing. And I think that there's an excitement to not knowing. So enjoy that. Enjoy the openness of it all. And I think sometimes people want you to say something just because they feel closed in, and they feel like they're sort of chained to what they're doing, and they kind of want everybody else to get chained too really quick. And you can just stay free. Okay. I'm a senior, and I found myself with a serious crush on a freshman. We met through extracurriculars and became fairly close friends. Recently, when I jokingly confessed that I'd be into him if we were closer in age, he admitted he had a thing for me. I realized I hadn't been really joking, and now we're talking, but not really talking, and I'm so stressed. This is not a situation I ever imagined myself dealing with, because I've always been adamant about avoiding too large an age gap when dating in high school. I think age becomes less important the older you get. But while in high school, I don't think it's smart for a freshman to date a senior. I graduate in a month, and in 3 months I'll be moving 3 hours away for college. That's a lot of threes. And I really like this guy, but I really don't know if it's something I should pursue. Anonymous. Well, Anonymous, it's hard to know how to advise somebody about love, because in some ways I feel like there aren't really any rules. People who sort of start imposing rules, I think it's like trying to contain something absolutely free and chaotic with some kind of a, pre-existing notions about what it should be. I think that when you survey people who have beautiful relationships and are happy, you find every kind of age gap and every permutation under the sun works for certain people. At the same time, there is something to, even more so than the age gap, because it sounds like you're both experiencing, really mutual feelings. So it's not so much the age gap that is the thing. There is something to distance being a thing. I think that in some ways, long distance is harder than age gaps, because when you have a distance and you start sort of living in some ways separate lives and then connecting, there's a lot more pressure on those moments of connection. And so much of life happens in little moments, brushing your teeth, what you're eating for breakfast, laughing about something that you saw together while walking on the street. All these little moments are what make up a life. And so I do think that as much as possible, people should try to be together, because then in your relationship, you can become almost like these dual processors, where the world goes through you and through your partner. And there's this beautiful thing of that you're not looking at everything through yourself, that you're looking at everything through this lens of love, of the person that you love. And 3 hours is not such a giant distance, but it can prove to be a very big distance at that age. So I I think that you should try and do what really feels right for you. But if you do decide to pursue this, really, once you leave, make as much time together as possible to live as much of life in a shared way. Good luck.
Hi, it's Tig Notaro doing Ask a Grown Woman, who kind of looks like a boy, for Rookie Magazine. Let's see, the first question is, I don't have any friends. I'm trying to do the loner thing in high school, but it's getting super lonely. How do you make friends? Sign the letter M. Well, the letter M. My very good friend Leslie had a genius idea when we were kids. She told everyone in the school that her grandmother had a bunny farm. Instant friends. It's genius. Who isn't gonna crowd around you, wanting to hang out with you on the weekends and hope you're gonna invite them to your grandmother's bunny farm? If that's not for you, which I understand, I don't know, do you have hobbies? Like for me, I played music, so I would start bands, horrible bands, but that was fun. Listen to music with friends, go to concerts. I also was really into soccer. Made a lot of friends on my soccer team. And, but you know what? As far as the loner thing, who cares? What's wrong with doing the loner thing? I know you're getting lonely, but I don't know. I'm doing the loner thing. I'm sitting in my house talking to myself. I think the loner thing's fine. Okay, next question. I am not confident about my body. I always feel like I'm fat or not good enough. I worry that girls, therefore, will not be attracted to me. How can I get over this? Signed, Miranda, age 16. Miranda, don't be ridiculous. You're great. We're all great. You just got to be confident. I just got over breast cancer. I'm in remission now, but I had to get a double mastectomy, so I don't have any breasts, and I just have scars across my chest. And I was really insecure about it at first, and then I have just accepted things. I've become very comfortable with myself, maybe even too comfortable with myself. But yeah, that becomes attractive to people when you just own exactly who you are. And sometimes it takes a little time, but you'll get there. So, you can do it. You're great. We're all doing our best. We're going to pull through. Final question. Let's see. My mother died a few months ago and has completely messed up my whole perception of reality because I lost the one person who truly loved me. I keep wondering, when someone dies, where does that love go? I just feel completely alone and unloved, which is horrible because I used to be reminded every day that someone loves me. Everything seems painless. Everything seems pointless because the only person who had real love for me is gone, and I didn't make the most of it when I could. Is there any way to come to terms with that? Signed, the letter C. The letter C. First of all, I am very sorry about your mother. I also lost my mother last year unexpectedly, and it was the most painful thing I've ever been through in my life. I probably didn't stop uncontrollably sobbing for 3 weeks straight. As far as your mother being the only person that truly loved you, I'm certain other people in your life love you tremendously. And that's where the love can go. And a really great gift to give your mother is to truly spend time with good people around you and cherish the time you have with them and appreciate who they are and what they are in your life. That's a really great gift to you, your mother, and other people. So being present and aware of that, your time with people, that's really where the love can go. That's what I'm doing, and it's helpful. I hope this has been helpful. Okay, well, this is the end of Tig Notaro's Ask a Grown Woman Who Looks Like a Boy. And yeah, listen to my podcast, Professor Blastoff. It's very ridiculous. Buy my CD. I have two. One is called Live, and the other one is called Good One. And my Good One CD comes with a DVD that is called Have Tig at Your Party. And it's just me standing still for an hour. You can put on your TV and just, I'll be at your party, just looking at you, like this, kind of like this. And then come see me live. Check out my tour dates on my website. All right, well, I'll see you at the top. Bye.
Hi, I'm Gillian Jacobs. Number one, it's not like I don't have any friends at all. It's just that I have maybe 3 of them and I have trouble making new ones. My interpersonal skills aren't very well developed. I try to smile a lot, but not like a total tool. Be nice, help people, and be open. But I can't seem to keep that attitude all the time, and I get really gloomy and bitter, and then people tend to avoid me. How do I make new friends without feeling awkward and self-conscious? I would suggest to you that you be open and upfront with, the friends that you do have and the people around you about the moods that you get in, because then it won't be so mysterious to people why sometimes you shut down and get sad and say, I get in these moods and I don't know what to do. And then I think you'd be surprised the number of people that say, like, I feel the same way and I get these moods too. I just, go home and sit in my room by myself. So I think then people won't be as scared or confused when you get in a bad mood. I'd say, like, try and figure out why you're getting in these bad moods. Maybe deal with that a bit more. Talk to somebody about that so that you can start to deal with that. And then I would also say, that you should try and make friends with the friends of your friends. So, like, the 3 friends that you have, like, who are their other friends? And do you guys have anything in common? And maybe try and, like, do group hangouts with them. Go do things. And I would say I didn't have a lot of friends either. And the thing that I did was just really focus on the stuff that I liked and enjoyed. And for me, it was theater. And I was a total theater nerd. And I read a lot of plays. And I went to a lot of plays. And I tried to do that as much as possible. And that's how I met other friends, because I didn't really have a lot of friends at my high school or my elementary school or my middle school. And so sometimes I feel like if you have an interest or a passion for something and you meet people through that interest, you're more likely to have things in common with them. So it might not be at your high school. And also, high school will be over before you know it, and then you'll meet cooler, better friends, which is what happened for me. 2 of my girlfriends are always being told what great legs and butts they have, but no one says anything like that to me. I have glasses and braces and hair that cannot be tamed. I'm clever, but that's it. I'm lonely. I feel ugly and insecure. I even made up a pretend holiday boyfriend to make myself seem cool. I don't want to be a nerd. I want to feel empowered by my culture, and I want someone to like me. Is there anything I can do? Indigo Blue, 13, England. Okay, I would drop the pretend holiday boyfriend subtly. Just stop mentioning him, because I pretty much can guarantee you people see through that, and it sounds like something out of a romantic comedy. So don't worry about that. Don't make up any more boyfriends, because just don't do that. Okay, you could like try and do a makeover, but I don't know that I really recommend that, because I got rid of my glasses and guys still didn't like me. And I tried to do stuff with my hair and guys in my high school still didn't like me. I feel like sometimes, high school is this time where people get this like stuck perception of you that will not change regardless of like how much of a, romantic comedy makeover you do on yourself. But like figuring out one's hair and how to deal with it is a lifelong battle. So maybe try out some new hair product, read some like, hair blogs, curly hair blogs. If you have curly hair, I have curly hair. I still don't know what to do with it, but like maybe try a different shampoo, conditioner, product, scrunch it, read up on that. But that's not the most important thing. I think the most important thing is it's awesome that you're a nerd girl, and don't try and not be a nerd girl. Because everything that makes you feel alone right now in high school is what's going to make you an awesome, interesting adult. And that's what's going to attract awesome, interesting friends to you and awesome, interesting potential boyfriends, romantic love interests. So don't let go of that. And I would say go further with whatever you're interested in, but like remain open to the people around you. I was way too serious in high school. So if I could go back and do it again, I would try to have more fun. So I don't know if that's your problem too, but I never really allowed myself to have fun. So if you can do that, that's attractive to other people, and people want to be around people who are having fun. But that doesn't mean that you have to do what everybody else is doing. Figure out what it means for you. I was lonely too. And nobody ever told me I had nice legs or a nice butt. And that's okay. And just please continue being yourself. Okay. Number 3. I've been going to the same school since first grade. I'm in 9th grade now and have had the same group of people around me for a long time, which is great. The thing is, I've always gotten good grades and I'm stuck with this smart girl image. Nobody sees my other sides, and I don't know how to show them to people. How can I? Sincerely, L. Okay, what are your other sides? You don't say what that is. Like these other interests that you have besides doing well academically. I'd figure out a way to like talk about them with the friends that you do have without like giving them a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation on your interests. But just maybe like if people say, what did you do after school, or what did you do this weekend, you can say, oh, well, I did X, Y, Z. I'm really into this thing. See if people respond. If they respond, maybe try to include them in it. And like whatever these interests that you have, if it's music, are you going to concerts? If it's art, are you going to art shows? If it's whatever, are you going and like doing things that involve this interest? Are you meeting other people who have the same interests? Are you trying to make friends with them, even if they don't go to your same school? Because as I said earlier, my real like close friends in junior high and high school were all people who were also into acting but didn't go to my high school and didn't really live anywhere near me. But they were my friends that I had this shared interest with, and that was totally fine. It was a little lonely during the week at school, I'm not gonna lie. But at least I had friends who like really were into the same things as me. So maybe you need to be trying to make these friends outside of school. And don't stop being the smart girl for anybody, ever. Hi, I'm Gillian Jacobs. Number 4, I'm a little awkward when it comes to sex. When the time comes, I get really nervous and world vomit. I think you mean word vomit. Saying whatever is on my brain. But if you can vomit worlds, that's pretty cool. And I'd say get nervous as often as possible. Last time it was in a weird jokey voice, our nether regions are a little too close. It was awful. Should I explain to him that I was nervous or let it go? And how can I stop doing this in the future? Lindsay, 18. Question A, do you feel nervous around this guy when you're not having sex? Do you feel comfortable, when you guys are just hanging out talking? Okay, because you should be. And if it's just about sex, then I think you should just, when you're not having sex, when it's a non-sexy time moment, say to him, like, I get really nervous when we're doing the thing, and I say, like, weird things, and I feel if it's body insecurity, like, be honest with him. Like, I feel, like, weird about my legs or my stomach or my butt or my boobs. And, if he's a nice, cool guy, which he should be if you're having sex with him, he will understand and be compassionate. And if he's also a nice, fun, cool guy, like the type of guy you should be having sex with, he will find it kind of funny and endearing that you say these weird things when you get nervous, because I say all kinds of weird things when I get nervous, and I don't know how to stop myself. So I don't know how to tell you to stop saying these things, but I think make sure that this is, the right person to be having sex with, that you're ready to be having sex, and if all those things are true and you just get nervous about having sex, I think you should just tell him. Because the more open and honest you can be with the person that you're having sex with, the better the sex is going to be. And that's the sort of openness that you should be having with the person that you're having sex with. You should be able to tell them what you want, what you like, what you don't like, and, the things that you're insecure and feel silly about. And that's scary, but if you're not ready to be doing that, then you shouldn't be having sex. Okay? All right. Number 5. So I got really, really embarrassingly wasted at this party one time and hooked up with my friend. I like this boy, but as a friend and nothing more. We are in the same social circle and have lots of friends in common. But now things are just really awkward between us, and whenever I see him at school or parties or whatever, he either pretends like I'm not there or freezes up and is totally silent. Also, my school is really small, so everybody knows what happened, which just makes the situation even more awkward and annoying. Please help, Elizabeth. Okay, you have failed to mention, Elizabeth, what this guy thinks of what went down between you two. Is he A, embarrassed and awkward because he doesn't want to date you either, or B, embarrassed and awkward because he really likes you and you're rejecting him? So you need to figure that out. Maybe you know and you just didn't include it in your question, and if not, you need to talk to him when you two are alone and find out. So if it's A, you guys are on the same page, then I think you guys can come back from this. You guys can just like laugh it off, make a joke about how you both, got really drunk and did something that you didn't actually want to do. And if it's B and he actually likes you, I think you just need to say to him, I'm really sorry, I have to be honest with you. That's not what I want from this. You're my, I really value you as a friend, but that was like a drunken mistake. And if he's hurt and feels rejected, which is totally understandable, you have to give him some space and understand that it might take him a while to get over it. But I think if you're really kind and compassionate and kind of open up to him about it and are sweet about it, there's a chance that eventually he's going to get over those feelings and want to be your friend again. But you can't really control when and how he gets over those feelings. So it might still be awkward with you guys, but really the only thing that you can do is be honest, kind, compassionate with him, and hope that if he does like you, he gets over it and you guys can all be friends again. But try not to make out with guys that you don't want to date that are your friends. Maybe he already liked you and he didn't know how to tell you, and this drunken moment was an opportunity for that. And when you have guy friends that really like you, that you just want to be friends with, it's kind of a ticking time bomb. And when you add alcohol to that, it might explode faster than it was going to. But you have to be honest with yourself. Did you know that this guy liked you all along and you're just trying to ignore it? Because that's just a tricky situation. And maybe don't get drunk and feeling spicy around boys that like you that you just want to be friends with. Because they are vulnerable, sensitive sweethearts. Okay, thank you guys for your questions. I hope I was of any help to you guys. Mwah.
What's up? My name is Lena Waite, and I am happy to be answering your questions for Ask a Grown for Rookie. All right, I'm going to answer 2 questions. I'm going to read them out and try to answer them the best I can.